Hi everyone. Have you ever come across some pesky clicks when you put an object on a track and then change the pitch of that object and put it on the same track? I'm going to demonstrate this by putting 4 objects down. I'm going to use the ambient interfaces and I'm just going to use the orchestral strings. Let's just put a number 1 on there. We'll have a 4. We'll have a 5. And we'll have another number 1 to finish. Now let's just play that. Stop that. Did you notice there was a click between that first object and the second one? Let's just play that closer to the 2. Right. There are a lot of people out there who are slating Magix off for a fault. It's not actually a fault with Magix itself, it's a fault with the object. When you put an object down, these are just objects. They're not pieces of music. Just because you've actually clicked on a sound pool and an instrument and a loop, this isn't actually a piece of music. This is just an object that points to a tiny audio file on your computer, and Magix plays those audio files based on the objects that they point to. And the click that you get between the 2 is because each object is not perfectly matched to each other, hence we get this click. But the way to get rid of that is quite simple. Click on either of the first or the second object, wherever that click appears, and click on the magnify object button here to highlight this object. What we need to do is to move this object slightly to the left so that it merges into the first one. But it's no good actually moving the whole object, because if you do that, if you notice, the right hand end moves as well. So then that's out of line with the next beat. So let's just put that back and keep zooming in even more. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, scroll across, zoom in, scroll, and keep that item in view. Just keep zooming in and scrolling across. What we need to do is to move the front of that object very fractionally to the left so it merges or cross-fades with the first object. So if you move your cursor just above the center line, don't put it in the middle here, we don't want to fade, until you get the double horizontal arrow, click and drag that the smallest fraction you can into that first object. And you can zoom in again and keep scrolling across until you can see the item that you're looking for. There it is. There's that fade. It can be as small as you like. The problem is, let's just take that back off, is that if you notice here, the first object ends on quite a high volume there, and the second object starts on a low volume, and that produces this click effect. But by clicking and dragging that second object just a fraction into the first object, as small as you can make it, and then we'll zoom back out of that, and now let's play that. And there we go, the clicker's gone. We'll play further along, play from here. As you can tell, there aren't clicks between all of them. Only certain ones of them will produce that, and I'm guessing there's going to be one when it plays this last number 1 here. Let's just carry on. And there we are, there's another click. So we can take this last object, we can take the previous one if you want to, zoom into that object, and this time we're actually pushing the right hand end into the last object. So again, keep zooming in and keep zooming across so that you can keep your eye on this object. Zoom in again, keep zooming across, zoom in again, zoom across. Just keep clicking and zooming so you can see the object. And what we'll do this time is we'll move this right hand side into the last note. Be careful here, because if you hover over that last object and move your cursor towards that marker, if you notice that now is further to the right than it is to the left. That will actually pick up the right hand object, not the left one. If you hover over the left hand side and move towards it, if you notice that double arrow is now closer to the left, so you're now going to be working on the left hand object. So hover over that, click and drag that an absolute fraction to the right, let it go. Here is that tiny crossfade, zoom back out of that, and we'll play that one. And that click's gone as well. We'll play that from the start. We'll reduce this playtime back to the end of all of it, and we'll just play it. Thanks for watching. I hope you found that helpful.